It's well known that if a bocher from yeshiva would ask the Rebbe a question that has to do with yeshiva in Yonim, the Rebbe would not answer, and he would always send to the Hanhala yeshiva. There are tens, probably hundreds of times that the Rebbe wrote Kimafursim, that this is Katzas Hanhala yeshiva, or Stam Katzas Hanhala yeshiva. He even said it, but he wrote it many times, hundreds of times for sure. Once, one of the borchim in yeshiva here by Yasa Miami spoke to me about a certain decision he had to make, which had to do with yeshiva in Yoni, but it was a very, very important decision that he had to make. And he spoke to me about it because the Rebbe would always say, Katzas Hanhala yeshiva. But this was a question that it was very hard to come to a decision because it was very major, very important, and I didn't know really what to say. So I told him, this is a question you have to ask the Rebbe. But I told him, I know that the Rebbe will answer Katzas Hanhala yeshiva. That's Rebbe always sends to the Hanhala. Therefore, I think you should write to the Rebbe that you spoke to the Hanhala, and the Hanhala said that in a question like this, it's the only one that could answer is the Rebbe. And therefore, the Hanhala suggested that you ask the Rebbe, and therefore you're asking the Rebbe. So I thought if he writes like that, then how could the Rebbe go to the Hanhala when the Hanhala's answer was go to speak to the Rebbe? So the Bocha wrote like that to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe answered, Katzas Hanhala yeshiva. He disregarded the fact that he asked already and they sent him to Rebbe. The Rebbe said, Katzas Hanhala yeshiva. You go back to the Hanhala yeshiva, and because the Rebbe, so to speak, wanted that in all these questions, the Hanhala should be the one to answer. And he came back to us and we looked into it and we gave an answer, and Baruch Hashem, it worked out. But I want to show that if the Rebbe wanted it should go through the Hanhala, nothing helped, even though he wrote this way that he spoke to Hanhala, and the Hanhala said, go ask the Rebbe nevertheless sent it back, and he said, Katzas Hanhala yeshiva.